Welcome everybody back to the show. We're going to talk the entertainment business, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, we got Paul. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, Monty, how you doing?
Fantastic.
That's good.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing freaking fantastic.
Freaking fantastic. That's a new one.
Yep.
I've interviewed a guy who is a graphic designer, and he was fabulously fantastic. He has been his whole life, 83 years old, did 700 albums for Capitol Records.
Wow.
Wanted to be on the board of the of Be Fantastic. I said, well,
you want to be on the Fantastic board.
I said, well, I haven't started one yet, but you're on.
Well, you know what? A good alliteration. I'll change it to say I'm Friday Fantastic.
Friday, every day should be fantastic, obviously.
Today is Friday.
Because the way I figure it, most people don't even get what's going on till they're 50, and around 50.
Yeah.
I want people to get it sooner than that, obviously.
I know I look incredibly handsome and much younger than that, but I'm around 50.
You're around 50. And when did you get that? How important each day is? Did you? My theory
about 2 months ago.
My theory is experiencing.
I'm not shitting, but
experience. No, I know that because experiencing death in the family or close to it yourself, having a life-threatening illness, let's say, or hitting 50, or traveling extensively, typically wakes you up and says every day is important. Every day you should have a good time. And because some people don't make it to retirement, and unfortunately everyone's designed to live to get to retirement, or not even live, just to exist till you get there, which supposedly is the holy grail. It's a little ridiculous.
I've worked for a really long time, and I've mostly enjoyed what I've done, so that's been nice. But the idea of not making it to retirement, that's horrible.
Well, my parents died when I was 9. They didn't even come close. They died in their 30s.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because having parents is important.
Yeah, so I've heard.
I'm a dad of 2 boys from 2 different baby mamas, I like to call them.
Okay.
They sounds better than ex-wives.
Baby mamas, that's a good one.
Yeah. Keep it fun.
2 incubators.
And 2 wonderful kids.
That's great.
With big span. I got one that's a junior in college, and I got a second grader.
Okay.
So like 20 and 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but the fun thing is, I actually have a really great dad, and so it taught me to be a great dad. So as much as I've always cared about my career, my kids that's always the number one thing.
That's wonderful, and I try to teach people that all the money in the bank, if you work too hard and you have a lot of money in the bank, typically your wife divorces you and your kids hate you because you weren't there for them, for the first step, for the baseball game, for the play, and you end up with a lot of money with no wife and kids,
Well, at least I got it 50% right. I have the 2 divorces, but my kids don't hate me. They actually love me.
There you go.
Well, 20 years old is 20 years old, right? So they love you sometimes.
Right. Well, it depends how much you're helping them, I guess, probably.
Right. There you go. Right. Dad, I need some money.
Dad, I need $100. Okay. So
hey, have you heard about this thing called Zelle? You don't even have to send me a check, or Dad, you can just do it on your phone, Dad.
They make it easy for you.
Right.
That's what great kids you have.
Can I get that? And I need this money. Can I get it in 5 minutes? Yes. Let me stop everything I'm doing, and I will get right on that for you.
So you're saying you spent some time in the entertainment business?
That's right.
And how'd you start out in the
How did I start out? Well, I started it out really by going to I went to film school at Northwestern.
Okay.
In Chicago.
Okay.
Evanston, more specifically. Great school, so I have a lot of friends from there, both in and out of the business. And then
in 1.5 miles, take the US 101 North exit toward Ventura.
I started out actually in at a company that did trailers and radio and TV campaigns for movies.
Okay.
So more on the marketing end.
Right.
But that wasn't what I really wanted to do. It was just getting first job out of college, and then I was in the agency world for a while, and representing writers and producers and that kind of thing. And then I realized rather than making deals, I wanted to make stuff. So I ended up working for a couple different management companies and got into putting together and packaging TV series and TV movies, and I'm a TV guy, not a film guy.
What's your hit TV series?
A few recent. I've been in the business a long time, so I'll give you a few recent ones. So
Give me a few recent and a few old ones.
I had a show that went for 8 seasons on USA called Royal Pains, about the concierge doctor in the Hamptons. A fabulous young writer that I discovered, and it's the #1 show on there for a few seasons, and great show, great people, the actors. It was a really nice.
That's a long run.
Environment. It's a great run. Yeah.
Is it on Netflix right now and things like that? Or?
That's a good question. I haven't checked the profit and loss statements lately. With
Okay.
studio accounting, it's not something you need to sweat all that much.
Yeah.
They're good at showing a loss.
Exactly. And that's the ugly, ladies and gentlemen. Studios have a great accounting system. They put all their expenses on every film.
Yes.
So you never see a profit. They make a
Even
billion,
if it was a #1 for 3 years.
or
Not
a
making money.
billion-dollar movie. They say, well, we lost money on it.
Right.
It was only $1 billion that came in.
Yes. If you don't have Jack Nicholson's profit definition,
Well,
don't worry about seeing your profit.
Mel pulled off a big one with Passion of the Christ, where he obviously.
Well, if you can afford to self-finance something, and you get lucky with it being big, but I don't think most people are in the position to take that kind of risk.
Right.
But good for him for doing that.
So older shows.
Then another show that I was fond of, that was I don't know when I did that. That was maybe like 6 years ago, was a show called Wilfred for FX.
Okay.
That was with Elijah Wood and a super funny guy named Jason Gann from Australia. And it was about I don't know if you saw it, was the guy in a dog suit. And then then Elijah Wood, it was kind of like his alter ego, right?
Right.
And it was a little bit of a in your head, psychological comedy, a little bit of a stoner buddy comedy,
Okay.
And that went for, what did we do? 3 for sure. I think 4 seasons on FX.
And you produced that? Is that
Yeah.
what you did? You're a producer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I found Jason when he came to my partner and I here in Los Angeles, and he was wanting to, he'd done some small stuff in Australia. He wanted to come to where everything happens. And
Sure.
he had done a little version of this show for a teeny cable network in Australia, and the last thing he wanted to do was do that character again. Mate, please don't make me get back in the dog suit, And he had other great ideas. We tried to sell them, but my partner and I just loved Wilfred, the character and whatnot.
Now, wasn't there a show?
And it was done in a very small way for kind of like a 3-character piece, and for budgetary reasons, and just that's how it originated in Australia. And we kind of opened up the story palette more in terms of more characters and just kind of like what happened in their world, so the show would be a little broader. It was kind of, and could go for multiple seasons. So, and put him with an experienced American writer, showrunner, but he did a lot of the writing himself. Super smart, great actor, writer, comic voice, Jason Gann. And
Wasn't there a show called Alf?
Alf?
Wasn't
No,
it?
Wilfred.
No, but wasn't there a competing show with a guy
Alf was many years before on like ABC.
Wasn't that a guy in a
NBC.
dog
That
outfit?
was with a puppet.
Oh, it was a puppet.
And that was like one of those like Bob Saget-esque kind of 8 o'clock family shows. This is FX. This is much edgier, dark comedy, and in your head kind of, head trip kind of thing.
Gotcha.
The Elijah Wood guy is kind of like a bit of a self-loathing character, and this Wilfred, everyone else saw Wilfred as a dog, but Wilfred would talk to him. He saw him as a guy in a dog suit, and it would challenge his character to get over all of his, get over all of his insecurities and foibles and not be such a pussy.
Okay.
And, actually get out and, get into life, live your life, not, try to just be perception for people or live scared. I think that's probably a pretty good summary of what the writers were going for there.
Okay.
So not your everyday,
Well, I love comedy.
Set up joke kind of.
I think comedies are the best medicine. I especially like, remember Third Rock from the Sun?
Very well.
Wasn't that a great first
That was
season?
a fabulous show. That was like at the height of all the must-see TV stuff on NBC. They had a lot of great comedies then, you know. Yeah, I mean, that was like during the Friends days, and gosh, what else? They had, you know, I don't know, they had a ton of them. Like Mad About You. I mean, it was like a hit machine over there for a while.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, it's a very different day and age now with Netflix and so many different providers and the ability to do more edgy stuff, and there's less of a
It's nice that you
there's a less of a stigma between TV and film. Like there were certain actors that was just like, hey, I do movies, I don't do television. Like television was a step down for them.
Or they wouldn't do commercials. Now they're all doing commercials. They would never do a commercial, right?
Yeah,
the big stars.
they do commercials here. They do a lot. They've always done a lot of them internationally.
Yeah, because they weren't seeing.
They're just trying to pocket the money, or whatever.
Right,
but
exactly.
that's it. You know what? It's called show business, right?
Right.
So how can you can't blame somebody for trying to make money? That's business.
Right.
But now it's really great because you see really talented people and people that you wouldn't expect being in television things. And I use television broadly. To me, Netflix, anything that you watch on your TV is television.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So it doesn't matter to me if it's cable or network or over the top or whatever. It's either TV. If you don't go see it in a movie theater, it's TV.
Right. I agree.
I don't care if you watch it on your phone or your, whatever. So you see a lot of great people, doing things that you wouldn't have seen doing before. So I think that's great that there's a more blurred line between film and television, and that television isn't film's, stepchild.
Right. And just so many more venues, channels, and it's amazing. I mean, the problem is like Hulu. Someone's telling me about this great show, the Handmaid's show.
Tale, yeah.
Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, but then you got to buy Hulu now, and I mean you could add up a lot of channels.
You don't have to necessarily have,
But you got
a
Netflix,
big cable system or a big package, a Time Warner or a Direct or whatever. But I mean, I like that. I like having all the choice. But I'm also, I'm in the business. I like to keep up on what's going on. But if you don't want 500 channels and you want to, not spend $100 or more a month on your TV, viewing, and now you can get Hulu for $10 and Netflix for $10 and one other thing that you like, and you're not spending that much on TV. But
and then I guess the networks are free.
You're also limiting what options you have.
Right.
But,
well, now that it's kind of funny how network TV came full circle. Network started on rabbit ears, then it went to cable, then it went to satellite. Now it's back to rabbit ears in HD. It went full circle.
People, yes.
Well, it's free now. The network stations are HD.
I don't think there's that many. I guess I don't know how many people do that. That's be interesting to know. I've had satellite for years and years and years, and
right.
I think it's a great product. And I'm, sometimes I get a little peeved with the bill, but and all in all, it's pretty good value.
Pretty cheap form of entertainment.
Fan, and they have an NFL package, so I'm not complaining.
There you go.
And
so, what do you think about Netflix when it came out? The Bahama.
What have I watched on Netflix recently?
No, what do you think about Netflix and its business model?
Netflix is a juggernaut.
Isn't it amazing how the size of the thing is?
Yeah, I mean, and they've done a great job. I mean, when you go buy TV,
but I think it
doesn't say ABC or A&E or TBS on your remote. It says Netflix on your remote.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. It's one button push. Boom, it's right there. I mean, so how they got that, and obviously everything is money and trade-offs.
It was a contract.
It was a pretty smart play by them.
But I think it's going to diminish because now that they've wised up all the studios, they're not going to give their content to Netflix now. I think it was a 10-year run or something that they had.
Well,
Netflix
is its own self-owned company. This is as far as I know, and they license.
how they started
they
out.
license stuff from the various studios.
Right.
You know, and then they obviously have a lot of great original programming that they are funding.
Right.
Hulu, on the other hand, is actually a consortium of the studios, if I'm not mistaken. So
Oh, really?
I think the owners of Hulu are like a combination of like Disney and NBC or Comcast. Don't hold me to exactly which ones, but I know that Hulu is a combination of a few studios.
Oh, okay.
So that's one way they differentiate from Netflix. But they all want it's not like they want to put stuff only. I mean, I think maybe they do some stuff exclusively on Hulu, but they want as many revenue sources as they can get. You know, I mean, there's really no, what was the DVD business is now the streaming business.
Right.
So you got to make up for the revenue someplace.
Right.
So,
And
tell me who are some of your favorite actors?
My favorite actors.
It's a good generation of actors these days, I think, over the last 20, 30 years.
Well, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, very good.
Keanu Reeves. Sean Connery, is one of my favorites. I think who else would I really like to watch? John Lithgow.
Very great actor.
Amazing actor. I
miss Robin Williams.
I find
Robin Williams was so talented.
I find that there's a lot of character actors that are themselves, and they're just reading lines, being themselves. Whereas the actors I named can be many characters. Where Jennifer Cameron, what's her name?
Lawrence.
No,
Jennifer Lawrence.
No, not Jennifer Lawrence. She's a comedic actor in television, and I just felt she's always herself. She was in Friends.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston. I think Jennifer Aniston just plays Jennifer Aniston. She's always Jennifer Aniston.
Right,
but someone
like, I know what you're saying. Someone like a John Lithgow or John Malkovich or whatever, they melt into the role.
Or
they are the role, not the actor.
The guy from American American fantastic actor. He always loses 50 pounds or what's his name?
You gotta give me a movie.
American.
American Sniper.
Not American Sniper. It's got American. The opening scene where he's putting on $1 million. He was very wealthy, and he was a psycho killer, and he put on the opening scene was he had.
American Psycho.
Was that what it was? American Psycho.
Yeah.
What's that actor?
Oh gosh, was that? Was it Benicio?
Fabulous.
Del Toro?
No, it wasn't him. I mean, he's just one of the amazing actor. He changes his whole body for each role practically. I'm trying to think what the guy's name is.
I can't either.
Yeah. American Psycho was the name of definitely the movie.
Yeah.
American Psycho.
I just saw a great Western movie. I like seeing Westerns sometimes. I know some people like them and some people don't, but I just think kind of people can get into some really good characters.
Well, I like period pieces.
Yeah.
So
this one I saw recently was called Hostiles, and it's Christian Bale.
Christian Bale! That's the one! That's the actor.
Really?
Christian Bale.
I love Christian Bale.
He's one of the best actors.
That was American Psycho. I couldn't remember who it was.
Christian Bale, he's the guy.
I only saw that once years and years.
Oh
that's
my God,
that's an old movie, but
he is a magnificent actor.
Oh, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
I love just about anything he's in. And
that's too funny. You come with he was in a Western recently?
Yeah, it's called Hostiles.
Hostiles.
And it's really good. It's really powerful, and I'm almost positive I watched it on Netflix. So if you have Netflix,
okay. My wife likes.
There's a plug for Netflix.
My wife likes westerns.
Yeah.
I like musicals, like Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge is one of my. We can get along, Monty. Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies.
Oh my God, I can watch that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, one, I have no memory, so I never remember the endings anyway. I have to call my wife from Redbox now because I keep renting the movie that we rented the week before. So I call her up. I say, "Have we seen this one?" She goes, "Yes." I go, "Did I like it?" Every movie, But that was Moulin Rouge. It's just every scene, every ounce of that is so magnificently portrayed and shown, and I thought they did a marvelous job of singing as well.
Do you know who? I mean, I think he's been a lead in some things, but he's been more of a supporting actor. Do you know an actor named Jeff Daniels?
Yeah, of course.
So Jeff Daniels, he always usually plays kind of like a nice guy, right?
Right.
Or the president of something, or
Right.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you don't think of him as a hardcore villain, right?
Okay.
Certainly not. So anyway, there's after I watched Hostile, then I kind of was like, oh, I haven't seen Western in a while. There's a series, a limited series. I think, I don't know if they're going to do a second season. It was like 7 or 8 episodes for this year, and it was called Godless. And he plays the leader of this band of bandits that, going through towns and, raping and pillaging and stealing and bank robbing. And, he plays about one of the baddest dudes that you would find. And it was like, instead of typecasting, it was like, one of those things where somebody wants to kind of do what they're not known for.
Right.
And he did a great job in it. Because you wouldn't normally think like, well, I think Jeff Daniels is like super intimidating or scary or whatever, but the way that he played this character, man, he was scary.
All right.
So Godless, it's called. You check that one out too.
Godless.
with your wife. And when you get to episode 4, she can ask you about what episode 1 was about again.
Well, we're watching Shameless now, in season 6.
Yes, I know I moved to one of those services. I watched it back when it was on Showtime, but I haven't watched it in a couple of years. There's only so many, you can't watch everything. There's
Right.
so much stuff.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. There's too much stuff to watch. That's for sure.
Watched an interesting documentary. That's one of the things I like about Netflix is that more documentaries, I think, are being made these days, and more of an outlet. It used to just be the art house theater that come to town for 2 weeks. That was it.
Right.
And maybe you could find it on a DVD or VHS or whatever. But there's this. How long have you lived in California?
64 years now.
64 years. So then you probably will remember this because it goes back to the 80s. I want to say late 80s. And so the documentary, I think it's a 4-part series. It's called Wild Wild Country, and it's about, I don't know if you remember when this guy from India, it's Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. He was the guy, kind of like a Jim Jones, but much more, for a while, respected as a real religious leader. He was the guy that drove all those Rolls Royces, if you remember that in the news back then, and he built this town in southern Oregon, and like they just went in and like took over this town, and it started and changed it to this Indian name, and started like, because they had all the population like running for the city council, and it's really interesting, and then he ended up getting busted on, or was under a lot of federal investigation, him and some of his people, for, I want to remember the whole thing, for a lot of shady things that he and like this one woman who was kind of like a Svengali, really the puppet master of all this stuff, were doing. And then, but instead of getting arrested, which they probably would have gone to jail for a long time, they fled and were able to get back to India and have safe harbor there, and then he died, but she's still living, and she's interviewed a ton in this.
Pay the ransom for his grandson's kidnapping. And then the Croc story.
Here I thought it was Bill Gates or Warren Buffett.
Well, no, right now it's Bezos, $150 billion.
Is he really the richest guy in the world?
He's the richest guy in the world right now, Jeff Bezos. Trying to get him on my cooking show.
All right, well, we are getting to our destination.
Yes, we are. I want to thank you for participating in a little podcast about the entertainment business. Now, in closing, what are you doing now with kids? Which sounds very interesting.
I work with a kids educational network called Baby First. We're in about 60 million homes, and it's really
right.
It's more like what you and I might remember from like children's television workshop, a little more PBS feeling, and slower pace, letters, numbers, music, art, all kinds of stuff that is.
She was yelling, YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. But one of the things I like to say is, we're all amateurs as parents because we've never done it before, and I think you make less mistakes after your 6th kid. But we make a lot of mistakes raising our kids because our parents made a lot of mistakes raising us, and we keep passing on those mistakes generation to generation.
Well, I guess I will keep making up mistakes with the 2 children I have.
Yes, you
I'm
will.
not getting to a 6th kid. That's not in the cards.
Well, and unfortunately, you love your kids, but you're going to make mistakes. And I think we teach fear is the biggest problem. You know, if you climb up the tree, you're going to break your neck. If you don't go to school, you're going to be a failure. If you don't get married by 32 as a woman, you're going to be an old maid. All these fears, and now our kids have to go down the road instead of a nice flat road. They have to go through boulders and traverse canyons, and it's tough. But anyway, I hope you're doing a great thing with your show and showing people how to teach your kid the good things.
Indeed. Well, Imani, you have a great rest of your evening and weekend, and hope our paths cross again in the near future.
Okay, my friend.
Take care.
Be fantastic.